Hi, good evening, everyone. It's really a pleasure to have all of you tonight. So today we will talk about WeChat marketing in 2025. We will talk about what happened last year, which trends maybe were not completely new but reinforced, and what we can therefore expect in the 2025 to come. So let's dig in. So before we start the actual presentation, let me introduce myself. So, my name is Miriam Dabrova. I'm in China since 2013, so it's been more than 10 years. And originally, I came to China as an exchange student at Tsinghua University in Beijing. So, after graduation, I moved to Shanghai, where I started my career in marketing. And I work in several marketing agencies as an in-house marketing manager, but then I quickly moved to the agencies, and for the last couple of years, I was the head of China strategy at an international agency focusing mainly on working with the foreign clients overseas that wanted to register their presence on the Chinese market, mainly WeChat, but also other platforms. And then also, if they had any additional requirements, such as launches new products, campaigns, or trade shows. So I was also helping these clients to connect better with the Chinese target audience. And almost 5 years ago, I started the WeChat Girls community, supporting female entrepreneurs in China. And in the meantime, I also spoke at different events, such as for Huawei, Scholar, and also for a podcast on Chinese e-commerce in Poland. So during my career at the marketing agency, quite often I had to rely on the help from my Chinese colleagues to get any up-to-date information about the new features and so on. So actually, there's quite a lot of information about WeChat official account on the global internet, but quite often this information, I would say, are quite outdated or quite shallow. So uh, it's one of the reasons I decided to start a digital hotspot is to provide uh, people who are interested in Chinese social media, entrepreneurs, small and medium companies in China with up-to-date information that are available in English to simply make the Chinese social media more accessible to entrepreneurs and small and medium companies in China. So what's on our menu, what we are planning to do this year. Of course, some workshops and courses in the next couple of months. But in the meantime, we will regularly publish insights, news, organize webinars. There is also WeChat support group, which you can join. I will share some QR codes just in a moment. There is also a free material library, which already started on our WeChat, starting with the social media calendar for 2025, which you can download directly from our WeChat official account. So before we start the sharing today, let me also share with you the QR codes so we can connect. And don't worry, I will also share these QR codes later on before our Q&A session. So on the left, you have the QR code to our official account, where there will be articles published regularly. Then we have WeChat Channels, our video platform. And last but not least, there is the QR code to our WeChat group, where we already have more than 50 members exchanging and sharing about their experience and knowledge about Chinese social media. So yeah, if you have any questions, you can get them ready for the Q&A, or you can type them in the chat here. But today, from my side, I will try to clarify those questions, which I quite often get from my friends, from peers, or the clients. So quite a lot of people are wondering if WeChat official accounts are actually dead. Does it still make sense to put so much effort into producing long format articles, or it's not really doesn't really make sense anymore given the dropping view rates? Then we will also talk if there is such a thing, and then what is the WeChat algorithm. And we will also try to clarify a bit more how do WeChat channels work, and if they're actually one of the hottest formats in this coming year. And last but not least, As some of you might know, foreigner as individuals, they were not able to open official WeChat accounts on WeChat. So today we will take a look if it's still the case. But because tonight we have a very diverse group, I know some of you are seasoned marketers, some of you are just starting their adventure with the WeChat marketing. So uh, let me start with a short intro or some short recap what the WeChat marketing actually is. So I think when we think of WeChat marketing, we quite naturally think about official accounts, which is true. They are at the very core at the WeChat marketing. So they are usually leveraged by brands, organizations, and so on. Then we also have WeChat Channels, which is a WeChat short video platform. And we also have mini programs, which are app-like services within WeChat. So basically like a small application, but run within the WeChat application itself. And then moving forward, we have something that we can call a private domain. So private traffic, all of the group conversation, your private chat. So I'm sure quite a lot of expat entrepreneurs are quite familiar with the group marketing because sometimes it's the only outlet they can actually leverage more strongly. Then we also have WeChat moments. So you will notice that apart from a very few advertisements that you will see on the WeChat moments, so in this case, here we have the ad from the Lane Crawford. You will see almost no content from directly from the official accounts from the brands, unless one of your friends shares some of the articles on their moments, right? But otherwise, brands have very limited access to this zone, I would say, on WeChat. And then we also have WeChat Work, which is enterprise solution for the company. So basically, these profiles look very similar to normal WeChat profiles, but they are owned by the company. So basically, employees are using this accounts to have conversation with clients, with customers, and the company can keep track of this conversation. They can also, in the backend, can add relevant tags, and also these accounts can also leverage channels and other marketing touchpoints. So today we will not talk about all of these touchpoints, and also these are not the only ones. There's much more, but I just wanted to give you an overview, quick overview, that actually not only official accounts or not only WeChat channels can be considered at WeChat marketing. So let's take that into consideration. And now moving forward, let's take a look. So what actually happened in 2024? What were the new functions, features, or trend introduced by WeChat? What was the most successful types of the content? And then what we can potentially expect in 2025, right? So I think it's good to start with very few data points. So first of all, I think it's quite obvious that I think virtually everyone with a smartphone, mobile phone in China, they have WeChat app. So we have more than 1.3 billion monthly active users, and this includes people in the mainland China, but also users outside of China, Chinese diaspora, but also foreigners who are using WeChat, such as my family or some of your friends maybe. And today, because we will be talking about WeChat from the marketing perspective, I think it's good to know that on average, usually users spend around 80 minutes on the app per day. So this gives you an idea how much time an average user spends on WeChat. And what is quite crucial for the WeChat official accounts, it's quite interesting that on average users follow between 10 to 20 official accounts. So do you think it's a lot? Actually, I think it's not that much. I mean, I follow much more than that because I follow a lot of accounts to know what's going on. But if a user follows only 10 to 20 accounts, it's actually not so many, right? So we can say that users are actually quite picky with the content, the amount of content they are deciding to follow. So I would say accounts need to be quite special to make it into this 10-20 accounts, and then also be careful not to get an unfollow, which also something that happens from time to time, right? So now let's take a look. This is the data from the last year. What are the top features that users say they use every day? So I think it's quite natural that 99% of users, they say they use the chat messages function every day. This is what WeChat was actually basically created for. And then WeChat Pay, almost 80%. I think we use WeChat Pay sometimes without even realizing it's so incorporated within our daily life when we pay for the subway ticket, when we order takeout, and so on. And then I wanted to highlight to you that actually moments, 75% of users, they're open their moments on a daily basis. So it means they are really curious about what their friends are doing, what they are sharing. And I would say it's really something to think about, like how precious it is to get onto the moments. So giving the exposure, and given that three-fourths of the user are using this function every day. Then we have mini programs, more than half of the users. Now we have official accounts, similar, 52% of users, they interact with the official accounts every day. So not everyone, but half of the users, they do it every day. Also, we have stickers, we have red packets, transfers, and now we have channels. I think this might be quite interesting for you because it doesn't seem like a very high number, 41%. So for sure, there are much more people who are using channels maybe once per week or twice per week. But here the question was which features you are using every day. And also it gives us an idea that actually if only 41% of the WeChat users, they open channels on every single day, then actually it shows that WeChat channels have quite a lot of space to grow, right? So it seems that it's still a quite unleveraged platform, sub-platform of WeChat ecosystem. And then we have people who play games and also shoppers. So these are the functions that are used the most. And when it comes to content consumption, I think it's quite interesting to see that when users were asked if you are spending last year more time than previous year, most of the users admitted that they are spending more and more time on WeChat channels. For official accounts, the number of users who are interacting with official accounts, meaning reading articles, were more or less the same. People are not necessarily spending more time, maybe a little bit less even, right? So I guess maybe the time they were used to spending reading articles, maybe some of this time now they allocate to WeChat channels. And what are the trends? Who are actually interacting with this content? So more and more younger people are joining channels. Before, the average age for channels were a little bit higher. Now more and more younger users are participating. While older users and professionals, they are using both channels and official account to seek for professional content, to dig into more details and so on. And then why is that? It's mainly because channels focus mainly on daily tips and hobbies, and with the articles with the long format, we can dig into more knowledge base or professional topics and get them to know more in depth, right? So this is something that it's the difference between these two types of contents. And when we look at the most popular type of content of channels, I think it's uh, quite surprising that actually half of the users, they share their favorite type of content on WeChat is actually culinary. I think it's quite interesting. And then followed by travel and adventures. So basically going out, traveling, trips, and streaming, like sharing your experiences of traveling overseas or some cool stuff. And then third top content on channels, short videos, will be entertainment and gossip. So different type of comedy, celebrity gossip also. But now when we look at what kind of content is actually the most popular on live streaming, that would be e-commerce. So I would say that any time of the day and night, you will find some live streaming going on. And it goes from beauty products, cosmetics, fashion, but also is also expanding to other areas such as uh, a lot of people from rural China are actually promoting their produce directly on WeChat live streaming. So I think it's quite interesting. Then we also have entertainment, so people who are sharing their talents, singing, dancing, and so on. And I think third a category, which is one of the top most favored, is actually fitness and health. I think it's quite interesting. So apparently, a lot of people find motivation to exercise together, participate in yoga classes together. I think it's quite interesting trend. So now something that is good to know regarding the key differences in the approach to both types of this account. So first of all, short videos are more visual in order to be also more shareable. For the live streaming, the setup, the environment can be a little bit less polished, less fancy, because this is mainly about the real-time interaction between the host and the viewers. And for example, when we have one type of content like education, but depending on if we are using channels of live streaming, this kind of content, which also ranked very high in the top categories, can be presented in very different ways, right? So on channels, usually the knowledge will be presented in a form of short tutorials, whereas on live streaming, it will be more in-depth webinars or sharing for some professionals, right? So I think it's good to know that even if we have some given topic, we can still think of some different ways how we can present it to the audience, right? So now let's move on to the WeChat channels. So WeChat channels is a very unique platform. So it's actually just one of the sub platforms within the whole WeChat ecosystem. It started, I think, in early 2020, and I would say it started a little bit slowly. But now it seems that WeChat are really getting more and more integrated within the whole WeChat environment. So before we dig deeper into WeChat channels, let's clarify what are the main differences between WeChat channels and Chinese TikTok, so Douyin. So first of all, WeChat channels are just a part of a big ecosystem, right? WeChat existed without WeChat channels before and probably would be existing without them. Like WeChat channels are not the core function of the WeChat messenger, right? And contrary to the type of content presented on Douyin, WeChat channels are more focused on real life documentation, more on social interactions, because they're very tightly linked to the uh, friend-based recommendation algorithm, which we will talk more a little bit later. And for TikTok, TikTok is the key. Short videos are the key feature of the app, right? So users usually go to TikTok when they feel like they want to get some fun, some entertainment. Whereas for WeChat channels, you can stumble upon WeChat channels content when your friends. You just check messages from your friends. They share with you video from channels, and then you decide, okay, now I can watch more videos, right? Whereas on Douyin, you know directly by clicking on the app what are you going to do. And Douyin, they're mainly focused heavily on entertainment and viral content. So when it comes to the video channels, their growth, so as I mentioned, maybe in the beginning, the start was a little bit slow. Then for the user engagement, when we look at the views, it's actually increasing each year. Also, what is very important for Tencent, the mother company of WeChat, is that there is more and more daily active creators, because obviously WeChat want users to upload fresh videos on a daily basis, quality videos. So it's really important to have more and more creators in the platform. And WeChat is also offering some incentives to the creators, which I will mention in a moment. And the content is really diverse, from lifestyle, culture, fun to very serious finance. Like basically, I would say all kind of contents will find their home on WeChat channels. Same, because all of us are on WeChat. So actually, there's something for everyone. And when we look at the numbers related to WeChat channels and their growth, so we can see that channels have almost 500 million daily active users. So as I mentioned before, it's less than half of the WeChat users are opening channels every day. So we can see that actually there's a big room to grow for WeChat channels still. And half of the users, they say they spend around 6 to 30 minutes per session when interacting with WeChat channels. While there is also a growing group of users who are spending more than 1 hour per visit when they are opening their WeChat channels. And normally, when asked when they are actually using their WeChat channels, when they are opening WeChat channels, is usually before bedtime or after work. So if you are thinking when to post your content, you might try to experiment by posting maybe around that time or just before that moment in the evening. And what is very interesting about WeChat channels, because um, with official accounts, if you don't follow some of the accounts, you simply will not get the content from them unless shared to you by your friends. But with WeChat channels, it's very different because users can search for keywords using hashtags. This is a place on WeChat where hashtags were used in this way for the first time. And users can also find some interesting videos by using keywords in the search. And then what is also very special about WeChat channels is the social recommendation algorithm. So more than half of the algorithm is based on the friends' recommendations. So WeChat is assuming that the content that was liked by your friends, it has a high chance to resonate with you as well. So you will be served videos that WeChat thinks that might resonate with you. Uh, when it comes to the WeChat marketing, what is very special, how WeChat channels are connected with the official account. So one of the things that make it very special is this quick access where users can actually jump between between official account and between channels. So on the left, you can see one of my articles about AI metahumans, where I embedded one of the videos from my WeChat channels within the article. So users can read the article, but they can also go deeper learn more about the story by opening the WeChat channels video and learning watching more visual story behind this article. And also, when you take a look at the right screen, you can see that I connected my official account and WeChat channels. So users, maybe they discover one of my videos, they really like it, and they go to the main page and they see there's actually official account. So they can click directly, check the articles, and they can also follow my official account, because now the follower base for both of your channels and official accounts are not the same group. So yeah. So actually, you can help to drive traffic from your official account to channels, but also from channels to official account. And from channels to official account, it's even more interesting because the algorithm might suggest your content to the users who would otherwise not find your content, right? So for my account, it's very new. It's just 1 month old, but I already saw a couple of new followers to my official account coming from the channels. So this cross promotion is something very special and unique in the WeChat ecosystem. So I would really encourage you to explore more about this integration. And when it comes to monetization options, so for big brands, obviously, it can take a lot of different forms. First of all, these brands can just post videos to raise the general awareness about their brand. They can run some campaign, drive engagement. They can also promote sales. They can also run online sales, right? Then we also have a social commerce, live streaming, which is open to brands and also to individuals. So as I mentioned, live streaming is something that is really special, growing very fast and across different areas. And then we also have incentives for the creators. So WeChat is also allowing users, viewers of the live streaming and short videos to send some small points to the creators, where then they can then exchange for money. So this is something that you can keep in mind. I think it's quite interesting. There are really different ways and outlets on the WeChat channels. So when it comes to channels video format, most of us would open channels on our mobile phones. So vertical format is the best for optimal viewing experience. But you can see that even big brands, like for example here Lululemon, sometimes they would just reuse directly videos maybe from TV or from other platforms which are horizontal. So you can see that even though they're still nice videos, you see that most of the screen is just empty black. So I think it's a little bit waste of space, but of course it's not always doable. But to engage users more, vertical format is always recommended. Videos also should be short. So even though WeChat allows quite long videos, it's better to use try to with short videos. Apparently, videos under 60 seconds are performing best. And then we also have keywords. So it's really important to include keywords in your video description or in the hashtag. So this way your videos has a higher chance of being discovered. So talking about channels, channels are not the only short form content that is getting popular on WeChat. And in the coming slides, I will show you how actually WeChat is kind of favoring this kind of short content. So first of all, WeChat channels. We've already discussed about WeChat channels a bit, how they are providing more options for brands, but also for the creators. For the articles, the best performing articles are actually between 600 to up 1200 Chinese characters. If they are getting longer, it's a little bit harder to maintain focus from the users and they might simply drop out. And then we have WeChat image message. So image message is a relatively new format for official accounts, where it's similar to Instagram carousel, basically. So what does it mean? In each image message, we can post up to 20 images or GIFs with text in more of a supportive role. So the focus is on the images here. So it's basically like a slideshow, exactly like a carousel. And from what we see, WeChat is offering better visibility um, to these image messages. I will show you a couple of examples. How does it look like in real life in WeChat? And I would say that from creator perspective, it's also slightly easier to prepare this bite-sized content compared to long format articles, when you need to prepare the whole long copy, prepare the layout, and so on. So if you have any content from other social media in this format, you can also repurpose this quite easily for WeChat, right? And last but not least, you can also add links to articles or mini programs within your image message. So if you want to do some e-commerce or to refer to some longer articles which develop the topic mentioned in this carousel further, it's a great way to do so. Okay, and now, yeah, WeChat image visibility, how they are displayed. So on the left, you can see one of my normal regular articles being shared on my moment. So you can see that the image is actually quite small. The preview is just like a small square thumbnail. So it's not very eye-catching, I would say. But then when I shared the image message regarding my social media calendar, you can see that this actually takes half of the screen on WeChat on my moments, right? So it's way, way, way more eye-catching. So this is something that I think it shows that WeChat actually is giving some favor treatment to this kind of image messages. And same happens when this kind of content is being shared to the WeChat groups or the private conversation. It's also very big. And on the main page of official accounts, image messages are also have a slightly bigger cover image. So the reason why short content has a higher potential to get popular, I don't want to say viral because getting viral on WeChat, I don't think that WeChat is in any way a platform that content can get viral, especially WeChat articles or so on. But what can make this short format content more popular, easier to share? It's just basically it's more eye-catching. You can even see that WeChat is making this kind of image message or channels more visible in your feed, right? And then they are quite shorter, and so it's easier for user to get hooked quicker and also to decide to share this content with their friends or with their peers, right? So it's have a higher potential to spread organically on WeChat. And last but not least, it really can help to expand your reach. So users can discover your content based on the algorithm, especially on the channels, but also on the recommendation for articles. So we will talk about the recommendation algorithm now. So I think it's something very interesting and that many users and brands are still not aware of. So you know that normally on WeChat, what you don't follow, you will normally not see, right? But WeChat, given that there's so many millions of official accounts on WeChat, and there's so much information and content being published every day, WeChat realized it's actually quite difficult for users to find new interesting accounts, right? They already follow maybe these 10, 20 accounts, and how they can discover new account, how they can make sure it's actually interesting for them. So WeChat is now moving more towards information looking for people model. So basically they want to serve you content that they think might be interesting for you. So how does it look like? Yeah, before, what you didn't follow, you will not see, right? So only the official accounts followed by you were visible in your main feed, unless you find some new articles in the group or in the moments, right? So, but now actually what happens, now maybe after our webinar, you will pay more attention to that. You can see that here, for example, I followed a new account. So this account was the tourist organization of Finland. And when I clicked follow, WeChat automatically dropped this small list of other followers, what other accounts followers also like. And they recommended me to follow some travel accounts or other accounts of tourist boards from the area, right? So I think it's quite interesting how they want to show you that this is something that you may also like. Then if you go to the subscription folder, the small folder in your WeChat main feed, then you have all of these accounts that can post on a daily basis. But I also have some information from the accounts that I am not following. And here in this example on the top, you can see that WeChat is recommending me this article, and they are even adding this small annotation that these articles has been viewed by more than 100,000 users, right? So it means that it must be good, it must be popular since it gains such a big traffic, right? Then on the bottom, you will also see that WeChat is encouraging me to read this article, suggesting that 3 of my friends already read it. So it also can be something that, oh, if my friends, they don't show which friends, but they give you an idea that maybe if this is something that resonated with your friends, it might be interesting also for you, right? And then another way that you can spot the algorithm is when you read some articles from the official account, you scroll down, you finish the article, and WeChat will also show you some of the articles that people who like this content, they also like some other content. So they will suggest you some of the articles from other accounts. So I think it's quite interesting. Maybe now you will see this more often. So now let me tell you why it's actually interesting and maybe a good thing to have this recommendation in place. So first of all, the algorithm now it's also paying more attention to the quality of the content over the size of the account, of the follower count. So this way, newer accounts can also benefit from this mechanism because they have also a high chance to being suggested to readers. So WeChat wants to make sure that they also show you some fresh content, some fresh accounts. So even though some of the accounts are just starting, they also, if they are doing well with their content, the content is interesting and gaining some reactions from the readers, it's a high chance that it will be also shown to their to new readers. Then the recommendations are getting more and more personalized. So WeChat wants to make sure that the content you are seeing on your WeChat feed is actually aligned with your interest, or it's something that you discover for the first time and it might be actually interesting for you. So, and this discovery, it happens quite smoothly because these new articles from the brands that you don't follow yet are appearing quite naturally between the articles from the brands that you follow. So they don't look that out of place. Maybe sometimes algorithm is still learning what you like, what you resonate with. So the more you interact with the articles, the more accurate, according to WeChat algorithm, the content will be. So I guess you're quite curious. What are the decisive factors taking into account by the algorithm, right? So first of all, uh, the accounts you already follow. So this is something that is one of the most important thing, like which describes your interest to WeChat. Then also, what are the previously viewed articles? So content and articles that you interacted with before. And something that is also very important is the kind of content and accounts your friends are interacting with. So basically, as I mentioned, WeChat is assuming that if your friends like this content, then it's quite possible that you will also like this content, right? And equally important is the quality of the articles. So high quality content, which is original content, which is already driving some interaction. So, for example, if some articles is gaining a lot of views, a lot of reactions, shares, or even generating new followers for the account, then it's giving a boost to this kind of content in the algorithm. Keywords and search optimization is also super important. So if you use some keywords that are relevant for the algorithm and so forth, it will also perform better in the WeChat search, and then it will also be boosted by the algorithm. So last but not least, also freshness of the content. So if you write some articles about the hot topics, important information, the fresher the better. It also has a good impact on the algorithm. So of course, I don't suggest to only chase hot topics or only write your content to make the algorithm happy. But I would say it's really good to understand the algorithm, how it works, and how you can use it. So your content will actually be recommended to new people who otherwise might not discover your content, right? And if you're official account manager, then you will see in your backend, you can also see how many people, how many percent of your followers or viewers are actually seeing your articles or starting to follow you because of the recommendation algorithm. So I think it's really something very interesting. So now moving forward, WeChat search. So I would say it's a very unassuming, rather not very eye-catching function of WeChat. So it's the small bar that we are looking for some informations. We are looking for some messages from your friend based on the keyword. But actually, WeChat search, which is often called underground river of WeChat's ecosystem, is something that is one of the biggest and most important features, functions of WeChat. It's actually connecting all of the mm, parts of WeChat. So it's something that is growing with each year. So I think maybe you use it on a daily basis or not. Maybe you just use it to find some messages from your friends or colleagues. But WeChat has more than 800 million daily active users. It's the search of volume of the search is growing each year, and 50% of users use it on a daily basis. I think it's very, very interesting. And if you're an official account owner or also for the channel's creators, it's really important to understand how WeChat search works. So today, I wanted to share with you also what are the key features of WeChat search. So first of all, WeChat is very user-centric. So it means that the results you get in WeChat search are heavily based on your history of interaction with the content, with the topics on WeChat, and your interests and your location as well. And also, WeChat is very ecosystem specific, meaning that WeChat search will most likely not send you outside of the WeChat platform, of the WeChat app. So they will give you results of the keywords that you are looking for within the articles. They will give you the examples of the links even to the products within the WeChat shops. But most of the time, WeChat will not send you to outside of the WeChat, so you can spend more time within WeChat, right? And from the official account, from the business perspective, two functions that are very interesting for brands would be the brand zone. So it's a feature that allows for the brands to have a customized zone on top of the WeChat search when someone is looking for this particular brand name. Then we have also WeChat Index, which is very cool functions that help users and brands and marketers to check how popular and are given keywords, or if they are trending, or if they having the same or they are declining. So this way, creators can adjust their content strategy and decide on the topics. So first, let me share with you a little bit about the brand zone. I think it's very interesting how it looks like. So on the left, you have regular search results. So for example, for my account or Forbidden City, when you look for it, you will get like the link to the main page, maybe some examples of the content from WeChat search or from the WeChat channels or from the articles. But then when it comes to the brand zone, you will see that results from the brand zone can be actually videos, can be actually direct links to mini programs, even showcasing directly given selected products. You can click and get in touch with customer service directly from this page. So I think it's very nice, very beautiful, very eye-catching. It's like these brands are taking over basically the whole WeChat search page when someone is looking for their name. However, there are some requirements in order to start a brand zone. So some of them require like a couple of thousand clicks per day onto your account. So it really depends on how big your account is, but it's good to know about this possibility, right? And then moving forward, I wanted to share with you about WeChat Index. So WeChat Index is a very handy mini program, so you can access it directly within WeChat, and you can put like any keywords. You can also type in English if you want, but not all the English keywords are tracked by WeChat Index. So you can check like how popular are given keywords. So for example, in here, we have Japan. So we can see that in some months, the popularity of this keyword was growing, right? We can also see what are the sources of this data. So here in yellow, it's WeChat channels. So we can see that WeChat channels are actually giving driving this growth, this popularity of this keyword. And then we can also compare some keywords. So in here we have Japan and Thailand. So we can see on the right that based on the chart, Japan in yellow had more searches in the in the last couple of weeks. But we can also see that in the last couple of days recently, Thailand had much higher search volume. So this might be related to the fact that more and more people were started to planning their Chinese New Year holiday and were looking for information about Thailand. But it might be also related to the fact that there was some kidnapping on the Chinese actor in Thailand with the border with Myanmar. So this might also affect the searchers for Thailand. So you can be, I think it's a quite nice tool. It's not, I would say, as detailed as some of the tools like provided by Google, for example, but it's still something fun to check like your industry keywords, and then it can help you to decide what type of keywords maybe will be you can leverage in your content, or what topic you can write about. So for the WeChat search, the new developments are expanding. So as I mentioned, maybe it's not so visible, not such a fancy function as WeChat Channels, but it's really growing and growing. So now WeChat search its search capabilities are connecting the different parts of the ecosystem even better. There are also some AI integrations. Also, it seems quite the efforts are, I would say, are more on the shy side. So also WeChat has introduced their special AI keyboard, which you can download as an app and generate one-click AI questions and answers. I think it's nice to try. It's also possible to invest in WeChat search advertisements. So today we are mainly talking about organic ways to boost your presence on WeChat, but WeChat search, if you have certain keywords in mind, you can also open a WeChat advertising account and boost your visibility on given keywords. So your content will be recommended when users are looking for certain keywords. Your article, your content will appear slightly higher. So this is something that is also worth considering. And it's also quite interesting because it can also be these ads can also lead to e-commerce, but the e-commerce integration itself is quite interesting. So there are more and more functions from merchants offered by WeChat stores. So if you look for some certain keywords, like for example, matcha tea or Yunnan coffee, then you will get some recommendation, product suggestion directly in the WeChat search. So I think it's something that is really interesting. So now we will talk about something that started to happen last year, which is still, I would say, not confirmed. It's related to WeChat service accounts. So WeChat accounts, as you may or may not know, usually, they are the ones that are appearing in your main feed along information from your friends. So normally this kind of articles, because they are between the messages from your friends, they can only post 4 times per month, right? But they were always like very high they had enjoyed very high visibility. But now it seems that some of the users, they are seeing them folded in a small folder similar to subscription accounts, which can post on a daily basis. So now let's a small reminder that service accounts on the left, and they are visible right away among messages from your friend. And for the subscription accounts, not to overwhelm users because they can post on a daily basis, they are all together within one folder. So as you can see, for the service accounts, even though they can only post 4 times per week, it's really amazing for them that they get this access, this visibility to be visible right away, right? It really gives them really high exposure. So if you've been on WeChat long enough, maybe you remember that before, when you get an update from the WeChat service account, you will get a notification very visible with number one unread message. The more you didn't, the more unread messages you had, the higher the number. But let's say it was very visible on par with messages from your friends. And then in 2023, WeChat actually automatically muted all of the updates from the service messages. So it was, I would say, the first blow to the visibility to the service accounts, because users, they still had the red dot notification, but it was not as eye-catching as the number one, right? And now it seems that for quite a lot of users, they reported last year, because this change, mind you, it was not announced officially yet. But it seems that more and more users saying that for them their service accounts are folded within a similar folder as subscription folder. So it's a really big change, both for the users. For users, some of them are happy about that because it means less overwhelming messages from the brand on a daily basis. But it's really have a huge impact on visibility for the service accounts, right? So not only you spend a lot of effort to prepare articles, but now maybe users will not visit this folder so often, or maybe this folder will not display your messages as visible as before, if it's based on the algorithm, not on the chronological order, right? So it's a big challenge for brands that is impacting their visibility. And but as I mentioned, it's not officially released. So I know that a lot of brands and a lot of creators complain about this. It seems that WeChat is still considering. So I would be super grateful if you can let me know how is it for you. For me, I still see the service accounts normally in my main feeds, but I know some of my colleagues, friends, and they have these accounts folded within the small folder. So how can actually service account adapt to this situation? So I wrote an article about that, so you can scan the QR code to read more about this, the story and the strategies. So first of all, to use bolder visuals, especially for the cover images, because in this case, cover images will be something that users will see first. So you need to stand out. It needs to be more nicer, visible, better quality. But also you can try to experiment with other formats like image message or WeChat or image messages to improve your visibility. Then it's quite good to understand how people actually discover your account, how people discover your articles. So you need to diversify your traffic, and the best way to do that will be to leverage both algorithm and search engine. So using the relevant keywords and making sure they're well adapted, and also leveraging private traffic, meaning WeChat moments and private groups and private conversations. So if your employees can spread your articles more efficiently, that will be also helpful. And last but not least, also to leverage WeChat channels. So as I mentioned, WeChat channels can be a tremendous source of traffic to your official account. So it's really important to leverage and try to experiment more with this short video features. So yeah, as I mentioned, strategies for service accounts, try a little bit more with image messages and see their performance. And then also explore more about the algorithm and SEO. Try to be more mindful about the keywords. In your backend, you can also actually check which keywords they drive the most traffic to your account. So you can think about maybe using them more. And then WeChat Channels videos. I think this is something that brand must adapt this year. And as one of the last news and something that was announced, I think around November, it's official accounts, the service accounts that I was just talking about. So previously they were only available to brands with business license. Individuals and only individuals with the Chinese ID can open only subscription accounts, so not the ones that are directly in the main feed. So it's quite interesting that now WeChat is opening up service accounts also for individuals. So the reasons for that I will mention in a moment, but why actually it's really cool for the individuals, it's because it's offered them better visibility, because the articles, they appear directly in the user's chat feed. So, but we know it might not be guaranteed anymore. But then it also offers advanced features. So these accounts, contrary to subscription accounts, they do have a function that they can enable WeChat Pay, they can enable e-commerce, customized coding. So if you want to go further than just subscription account, just pushing, publishing messages, then service account is something to consider. So the reason for that opening up is to offer content creators options to monetize their content more and even to utilize e-commerce features to do so. Also to help solo entrepreneurs to offer them a chance to have a stronger online presence and also to drive more sales through WeChat. But also for independent sellers who, for example, create some curations or Daigo, the people who are reselling stuff from abroad, also to reach beyond traditional Jingdong or Taobao. And they can also, thanks to the WeChat is such a social platform, it can also easier to connect directly with potential customers. So I think it's quite interesting. But until now, normally all of kind of these features were only available to users with Chinese ID. But now it seems I was doing some tests. So apparently, I also managed to open my additional official WeChat account, service account, using my normal profile, which is linked to my passport, right? I don't have a Chinese ID. But the thing is that this kind of account, they will require a real name verification, especially when you reach 10,000 followers. Or if you want to enable like e-commerce, WeChat Pay, you also need to do the real name verification. And you won't be able to do the real name verification without a Chinese ID. So I would say it was never advertised that it's available to foreigners. I think it's kind of a little bit of the platform not really seeing this as an issue until you are big enough. So if you are a foreigner, you don't have a Chinese ID, I think it's really interesting. You can try if it works for you. I'm not sure if this accounts will be available for a longer period of time, if this will not get suspended. But if you want, you can try to open, you can get the access to the backend, you can learn how it actually works. So I think this is the first time in WeChat history that foreigners can actually open official accounts. So I think it's really cool. You can try, even if it doesn't last long. At least you test it, you know how it works. And if you keep it quite low, if you don't get big enough, meaning 10,000 followers, then I guess you're good to go. So just it's something good to know. Yeah. So now, before we conclude our session today, what I would like you to remember from our sharing session, that some of the key trends. So what I would like you to take away from this session is that short and video formats will be something very big in the coming years, that account visibility for service accounts. If you experience that your views as a service accounts are dropping, it might be because of that. So please take more consideration about the WeChat algorithm, about WeChat search, how you can improve your visibility in those two. This will help you tremendously. And also account for individuals. I think this is something that is can be very interesting, especially for the foreigner who don't have a Chinese company or don't have a Chinese ID. It's a great way to interact with the WeChat ecosystem, with the backend. You can learn a lot. And then to remember of the content personalization. So these are the most important things. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. And then last but not least, I wanted to share with you some of the ideas for the webinars I have for the coming year. So some of the webinars that I would like to suggest this year would be to have register in WeChat official account. So basically how to do it, what are the common mistakes by the brands starting on WeChat, maybe how to choose your official account, if it should be service or subscription, also getting with Xiaomi, which is the editor for WeChat articles, WeChat channels from A to Z. Also for the data nerds, how to decode your WeChat article data, which I think is super interesting and super important to actually create your content strategy. Also for people who don't have a company or business license in here or overseas, how to promote without an official account, and also marketing strategy masterclass from your idea to sales and running campaigns and so on. So if you can help me by voting and selecting the one that you think are the most important ones, that would be great. And now moving to the Q&A session, and you can actually also here scan the QR codes. So yes, I will be sharing this presentation and sharing this sharing the recording of this webinar with you on the in the coming days. So yeah, thank you so much. It was a pleasure, and I cannot wait to see you at our upcoming webinars.